Off-roading in the Canadian Rockies is an exhilarating experience that combines the rugged beauty of one of the world's most stunning mountain ranges with the thrill of navigating challenging terrains. Trails range from rocky paths, shelf roads and river crossings, to muddy tracks and steep climbs. Trails like the Limestone Connector, McLean Creek, and Wipers Creek offer a mix of difficulty levels and scenic views. Off-roading in the Canadian Rockies is a remarkable adventure. But the spring thaw isn't exactly my favorite time of year for wheeling. I've changed too many pulleys and pinion bearings, and as a result, mud is dead to me. Or maybe I'm just getting too old for this shit. So this spring, I'm going on a whole different kind of adventure, to a place I've never gone before, Utah. "5 days, 3 epic trails, and a bunny hill. Adventure is pretty much guaranteed.
Driver!
When I'm officially turning off the Jeep wave, it's completely pointless to, wave at absolutely every Jeep that drives by because there's so freaking many of them. So I'm officially putting a pause on the wave. Ruby ain't no trailer princess, so I drove her from Edmonton to Utah.
God bless America, land of guns and freedom.
The first day was our longest, 14 hours. At least we were able to make frequent stops. Fortunately, Ray was pretty easy to entertain.
I'd forgotten how much I hate space travel.
Just a couple more steps and we'll officially be in Utah. We finally managed to make a stop that didn't involve fueling up. The stop at Hill Aerospace Museum is totally worth it. It's not every day you get to see an SR-71 Blackbird. After that, it was back on the road for just a few more hours. One of the highlights for me has to be Helper, Utah. This 50s style mining town is totally worth the short detour. "18 hours after leaving home, we have finally arrived. Moab is nestled near the heart of Utah's Red Rock country. It's a vibrant little town that serves as a gateway to some of the most stunning natural landscapes in the United States. The town pulses with the spirit of exploration.
Wait.
The shops are full of memorabilia. And those stupid ducks. Put it on. Let's see.
God bless America.
Wait to cross Main Street.
What trail are we doing tomorrow?
Fin thing trail. I don't know, I associated it with fish, so you know.
We're doing fins and things.
Oh, not fish, fin, fun
That's pretty
thing.
funny. That's pretty funny. Tomorrow simply cannot arrive soon enough. It's our first day on the trails. So what trail are we doing today, Ray?
Fin and things. Fin and thing?
The trailhead is just a short drive out of the Moab town side. The Sandflats Recreation Area is home to Fins and Things, as well as a few other trails. There is a small fee to use the trails here, $10 for a 7-day pass. A real bargain. I can't say I blame Ray for struggling with the name of this trail. It looks like we may encounter some dinosaurs. Or just really big lizards, maybe. Either way, we aired down and hit the trail solo. I was actually quite surprised that the trail was this empty. I didn't think there would be such a thing as a solo run in Moab. It didn't concern me though. I knew this was a very tame trail, and it's not like we were in the middle of nowhere. I actually prefer it this way. The solitude lets me go at my own pace and really take in the views. And the views here, well, they're absolutely amazing. Fins and Things is definitely an easier trail. It's a great place to start out for your first time in Moab. I know I've got brand new axles, brand new springs. You know, I'm kind of like hoping my stock fenders work, so I think this is a great place to ultimately test the articulation of it all. So yeah, this is kind of like my testing and tuning day, if you will. But so far, this is it's a super cool trail. It doesn't matter how easy or not it is. I mean, you know, it's very scenic here. It's something I've never done before. It's very different to the trails in Canada so far. Not saying it's harder, it's just different. After all the work I did to Ruby over the winter, hitting fins first was definitely smart. And this winter, it wasn't just minor work. All the changes I made to Ruby were working flawlessly so far. The standout for me was the Pro Rock axles. Not only do they look freaking hot, the 488 gears made trails like this a matter of putting it in second gear, pulling out the clutch pedal, and idling up whatever obstacle I was facing. If you're new to Moab, I do recommend starting with this trail. Even though it is an easy trail, it introduces you not only to the slick rock, but to the one constant that all trails here in Moab share: steep ups and even steeper downs. "30 minutes into the run, and we finally had some company. They were even Canadians. They were visiting from Manitoba and hit up one of the rental companies for a rig to beat on for the day. For around $350 per day, you can get into one of these rides. Just don't break anything, or else." Towards the halfway point of Fins, some of these obstacles started to increase slightly in difficulty. The one thing to keep in mind with rentals is that they do tend to limit which trails they're allowed to go on due to levels of difficulty. But Fins is anything but difficult, for the most part. This rental with its mild lift on 35-inch tires didn't really seem to have any problems with any of these obstacles. That being said, the skid plates on this rental will get more than a little love from the rocks today. So we just finished doing the first half of Fins and Things, and we've popped out over here. And we're gonna basically just head down Sam Flats Road for a little bit before we do the second half of Fins and Things. And I'm kind of hoping that this route here is just a little bit more challenging than the first half before we finish up over here at the exit. Ray and I would finish off Fins the way we started, solo. The second half starts out pretty easy, but before long we entered a segment of steep climbs and descents. It still wasn't much of a test for my Jeep, but it is just the first day. Lots can still happen. We finished our first trail here in Moab. Even though it was about as easy as it gets, it was a great way to get used to driving on slick rock, and it gives a good sampling of what's to come the rest of the week. That being said, our day wasn't quite over just yet.
Oh, we're going down this way.
Yeah.
How exciting.
After a quick lunch and some schoolwork for Ray, and a quick mechanical inspection of all the new parts for me, we were heading back out onto the trails. The plan was to catch a desert sunset from the summit of the Top of the World Trail. Even if the trail is a bust, which I doubt because it is an honor badge trail, the drive on Route 128 is probably one of the most scenic highways I have ever seen. We aired down at the Dewey Bridge. Well, what remained of it. Then it was on to Shura Road, which reminded me a lot of the TransAlta Trail back home. Well, the insanely bumpy parts of it at least. The landscape here is typical Moab. While we weren't alone airing down back at the Dewey Bridge, 45 minutes in and there was not a soul in sight. hopefully we can get close to sunset hour. I don't know what this trail's like, so coming out in the dark might be fun, but hey, that's why we got lights, right? Shortly after veering off the Shura Road, we encountered our first mild obstacle on the top of the world's safari route. It was here that we met Cole and Dashiell for the first time. They powered their way over this staircase and were out of sight in no time. So here's the thing about the Top of the World Trail. As I mentioned, it is an honor badge trail, but I find it incredibly simple and quite annoying actually. The trail is made up of broken rocks, so you're going to get pitched from side to side and up and down for the better part of 4 hours. Again, I was really expecting this honor badge trail to be a bit more difficult. I remember having this exact thought run through my head when we caught back up to Cole and Dashiell. Dashiell was struggling to get his forerunner over this obstacle, which, believe it or not, is actually the bypass.
This is a hard fucking bypass right here. Are you able to get your back end over there anymore?
The main obstacle, which looked intimidating, was actually pretty easy, if you have lockers. Dashiell gave up on the bypass, and since Cole and I basically idled up this obstacle, he was set to try his luck on it. To be honest, this is the only real obstacle on the entirety of the Top of the World Trail.
Yeah.
I think you might be able to do that, and then we just put probably like there's two pretty big flat rocks right there that we can toss. Yeah. On there, and I think you might be good at that point.
Yeah, I think so.
It might be a little too heavy, honestly. Yeah.
His Toyota was sporting 31-inch ATs. That's the bad news. The good news is that he had lockers. The other bad news is they might not be fully functional.
How does it look?
Driver? Yeah.
Right here.
A little more driver?
Right about there.
Yeah, do that.
And just go straight. No.
Oh, damn, you had it.
Oh, it definitely doesn't seem like it's working.
There was no way he was making it over this one. Time for a recovery. Dashiell will have to hang out for just a few more minutes while his friend readies for a recovery. Unfortunately, Cole's winch wasn't working. So Dashiell was forced to hang out just a little bit longer while his friend sorted out the problem with his winch.
I don't know what happened to it.
It didn't appear to be properly grounded, so using booster cables, he connected the winch directly to the negative battery terminal. It seemed to do the trick, and once again, a Jeep was pulling a Toyota over an obstacle. Just ignore all the smoke. Cole managed to get his friend over the obstacle before his booster cables completely melted or started on fire.
Stop.
Since we were all going to the same place, we decided to stick together for the rest of the day. This is great news for me since wheeling in Moab is a regular tradition for these two. They actually do it a couple times per year. It's easy when you live just one state over. Hundreds instead of thousands of miles makes it an easy getaway. The final 2 miles are probably the most challenging that this trail has to offer. It's slow, but remains relatively easy.
Oh wow.
Dashiell was really proving that you don't need big tires to make it up this trail. Lockers, on the other hand, well, I'm not gonna lie, they're pretty useful on this trail. Even though I was a bit disappointed with the ease of this trail and I was annoyed from being bounced around for the past 2.5 hours, the view was totally worth it. In all the excitement and focus in getting to the goal, none of us really noticed the storm clouds that had surrounded us. Our hopes for an epic sunset faded. Then reality set in. Not only would we be doing the steep descent in the dark, we just might be doing it during a thunderstorm. In our infinite wisdom, we also decided to take a different route down, a route that none of us have ever taken before. A route that was actually more difficult than the one we took on the way up. Would this be a decision that we would regret? Sure enough, we were caught in the storm. Fortunately, we were hit only by the edge of the storm. It was slow going, but all three of us would make it down the mountain safely. And most importantly, with nothing broken. Just past midnight, Ray and I would bid farewell to our new friends, Cole and Dashiell from Colorado. They would set up camp here for the night and continue to St. George the next day for more wheeling. It would be 2 a.m. before Ray and I would get back to the hotel, and the first thing I did was open up my news feed to see that the Edmonton Oilers had dispatched the crappy Vancouver Canucks, proving once again that they are in fact the best team in all of Canadian hockey. This was a great day. After having done 2 trails yesterday, Ray and I hit up Arches National Park as a day off of sorts. We did a mix of driving and hiking through most of the park. Even though there were a few off-road trails cutting through the park, we stuck to the pavement today. It's really easy to suffer a little bit of trail fatigue, especially after a trail like the one we did last night.
And here we have a giant wiener and a rock.
Arches National Park really is the greatest hits of Moab. It takes all the best features of the region and has them all wrapped up into one amazing national park.
Herman's horse sick. Hey Rachel, don't wander off. Some of these passageways can run for miles.
Okay. Enough Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade references for me. I promise. I'm the film nerd, what can I say?
So I did one Jeep wave. Shoot me.
Even though we stuck to the pavement, the drive through Arches did not disappoint.
Okay, Rachel. Do you want to go see the Garden of Eden or Satan's Petunias?
You know my answer already.
Well, which is it?
Satan's Petunias.
Okay, Satan's Petunias it is.
The rock formations here are truly amazing. It really made for a nice day off, but tomorrow it's back to the Sand Flats Recreation Area for our most challenging trail on the week. Unlike Fins and Things, there are plenty of people in the parking lot for this trail. We met Sean and Kim from Spokane, Washington, and since we were both first-timers of this trail, we decided to tackle it together. Wheeling is, after all, more fun in a group, even if it's a small one. The trail here at Sand Flats wasted no time getting started. As soon as the pavement from the parking lot ends, a 350-foot narrow climb begins. Of all the videos I've seen of this obstacle, it looked super smooth, and the driving line looked level. It was anything but that. Now, I've seen loads of videos of Hell's Revenge, but no film can ever do this place justice. You really have to see it in person to appreciate it. Never in my wildest dreams did I think I would ever drag my rear bumper on the ground, or flatten my tailpipe, but I did. This first part of Hell's Revenge was about the most entertaining wheeling I have ever done in my life. As entertaining as it was, I haven't even gotten to the tough stuff yet. Well, I've done many steep climbs on my Canadian adventures. They are nothing like these, not even close. But we also don't have rock with this much grip.
Driver.
After around 45 minutes, we were starting to get into some of the signature Hell's Revenge attractions. Sean and Kim had taken point, and we decided to check out the Devil's Hot Tub first. The views just continue to get more and more epic here in Moab. At 49 degrees, this is the steepest ascent I have ever done. If you do have any issues with heights, be warned. This trail will put you on the edge of your seat. Well, during the descents at least. For climbs like this, you will be sucked into the back of your seat like never before. I've heard a lot of stories about this place. And I've seen a lot of dumb shit on YouTube. And as luck would have it, some dude in a side-by-side was trying this nearly impossible climb out. Again, film cannot do this obstacle justice.
You gotta have momentum right there or it will.
This hillbilly could barely climb out on his hands and knees.
Now we wait, I kind of fuck while we go
Driving a full-size rig out of this is impressive. Truly impressive. Unfortunately, no one else wanted to do battle with the hot tub, and the group wanted to move on, so no viral video for me. As nerve-wracking as the climb up to the Devil's Hot Tub was, it had nothing on the climb down.
This trail is nuts. All we see out of the front window is ground. My wife's gonna kill me.
For the sake of my lovely wife, who may or may not watch this film, I'm not going to mention that this climb down was 53 degrees. Whoops. Not only was this a new record for my inclinometer, my holy shitometer was also pegged. The trail is clearly marked, and with all the rubber laid down on the driving line, this was actually an easy climb down. After 4 hours on this rather aggressive trail, Sean and Kim were trailed out. Well, it was probably more the youngster they had stowed in the back. They headed to the exit. Ray and I continued on by ourselves.
Welcome to Moab.
We've parted ways with the group from this morning. This is where we went left when we should have gone straight this morning. You know, that route was on my list of things to do. I wanted to see the Devil's Hot Tub, and we did. But now we're headed towards Hell's Gate and the Canyon Lookout. I have no intentions of doing Hell's Gate. Yeah, it's just not something I'm going to do unless there's somebody that's going to be able to spot me. I'm not doing it. But yeah, we're just running this solo now, and hopefully the crew found their way out of Hell's Revenge safely, and I hope they have a safe trip home.
I've gotten so used to wheeling by myself that I find it quite enjoyable, especially as a filmmaker. I really hate holding up the groups I'm with in order to get a cool shot or two. Our solo adventure didn't last too long. We ran into a couple groups at the canyon overlook. The view of the Colorado River from up here is absolutely incredible. This spot is also a stone's throw away from the entrance to the infamous Hell's Gate. Evan and Ralph, who were vacationing here from upstate New York, were here to get their fix of real off-road trails, something that is sorely lacking on their part of the East Coast. Evan, in his JKU, took the lead. He descended slowly and meticulously into the depths of Hell's Gate. I gotta say, his JKU on 40s made this climb look easy. Or he could just be a badass wheeler, because his line was absolutely perfect. Evan would now transition from expert driver to expert spotter. Ralph was next. How would his narrower, shorter TJ on the smaller 35-inch tires manage? Almost immediately, he found himself off the preferred line.
Driver!
Ralph was in trouble.
No. Back out.
back out, back out. Woo!
Shit just got real.
Back up a little. You gotta go more driver. Back up passenger. Back up a little more.
While his shape looked slightly better after a small readjustment to his line, he was still too far to the passenger side.
Go, back out, back out. Slow. Go back faster.
It appears that the third time is in fact the charm.
How you doing?
When I got up there and I started rolling back. Pretty scary.
What were you thinking when that front end was coming up like that?
No, don't hit the brakes, let it roll back.
Nice. You gonna do it again?
No, I'm good.
This is your bucket list and that's it?
Yes.
Given that I have some minor rear fender issues that need to be sorted, Sawzall, I opted out of doing Hell's Gate.
Behave.
Talking to your fender?
Yeah. It's a little crazy, I know.
A little?
I also had issues with it on the top of the World Trail. And not a half mile past Hell's Gate, I popped it off yet again.
So we had another little incident.
For years, I've always carried these spare body clips with me, but they were always for other people, never for me, until this trip.
No idea where those little clips end up going, but they were definitely part of the nether regions of Ruby. Looks like we've got just enough to do this repair. And I've got one left. One left, and then we may have to go to Napa and get some more.
Most all of my modifications have been great, especially these axles like I mentioned before. But I never would have thought that my bumper would make contact with the ground, especially with 4 inches of lift. I love this trail. I can't imagine how proud of their equipment, and of themselves, Evan and Ralph are right about now. Knowing that they tackled one of the most difficult and dangerous obstacles here in Moab has to be a great feeling. I was real close to saying, screw it, I'm turning around and trying it. But with only a drone to spot me, experience and common sense convinced me to call it a day.
Well, unfortunately, it's our last day here. Our pilgrimage to the Jeep Mecca is at almost at a close. And for the final day, I'm thinking it's an easier run. We're doing the 7-mile Rim Trail, which is 27 kilometers long. So I have no idea why it's called 7-mile Rim, but I'm sure when I do research for the scripting of this little film, I'll figure that out. But anyways, it's our last trail run.
So basically what you're saying, this is Jeep Mecca, right?
Yeah.
You're admitting it's cold.
Well, I suppose so. Haven't we gone through this like a bunch?
It is a cold.
Until now, each trail that we've done was better than the previous one. Did we manage to save the best trail for last? I still don't know why it's called 7-mile Rim. The only reason I can think of is because that sounds a whole lot better than 16.963435727 Mile Rim.
Just a Sunday drive out in the country.
It's Thursday.
The trail starts out with some shelf rides. Then it graduates to rock crawling. Eventually, the trail winds its way towards another amazing arch.
Now, Onyx has been pretty good, but this route must be an older one because a lot of it has been fenced off or gated off by the BLM for, what do they call it, desert restoration. Seems to be a pretty common theme with this trail, but the plan is to head around this way to our goal, which is over here.
The diversity of this trail is incredible. So far, it has had a little bit of everything. Spoiler alert, I'm pretty sure this is my favorite Moab trail. After leaving the arch, we follow the trail downwards to our goal.
We're slowly making our way to a couple mesas that we're gonna get to. Hopefully the weather holds. In that direction, we used to be able to see the mountains, but now they're covered in rain, so fingers crossed. Don't want another thunderstorm adventure. Had one. Don't need we don't need a sequel of that already.
Our goal this afternoon was a pair of buttes, not mesas. While similar, buttes are a smaller rock formation. The smaller of the two buttes is known as Monitor, the larger, Merrimack. For now, the weather seems to be in our favor, and given that this is a completely solo run, I'll take it.
Well, we're getting pretty close to these mesas, things, whatever they're called. We're getting close. It's awesome.
The towering rock formation rises majestically from the flat, arid landscape. Its rugged, red-hued walls were almost glowing. Looking up, the butte's stratified layers tell a geological story, ages in the making. The solitude is profound, broken only by the occasional call of a distant hawk and the constant howl of the wind.
It's crazy windy. Like, it got a hold of my glasses and, well, yeah. So, don't wear a hat and make sure your sunglasses are securely fastened to your face. Stupid wind.
I cannot think of a better trail to wrap up our Moab adventure on. It's almost surreal, like that of an alien planet. I'm not a fan of crowded trails. I'm not gonna lie, I'm quite certain that Easter Jeep Safari would drive me to within an inch of my sanity. I did, however, expect to see at least one other group on this trail. The solitude here was eerie. I really wish I had my guns. The final leg of this trail would snake its way through a dramatic canyon landscape, which continued to throw challenges our way. This was my first trail that ventured ever so slightly into the open desert. And it was on this trail that I saw my first signs of regulation by the Bureau of Land Management. While I don't think trails like Finn's or Halservange are at any threat of being closed, 7-Mile Rim is a trail that I can absolutely see us losing, and that would be a shame. This trail, while not the most technical, is absolutely stunning, and it does have a little bit of something for everyone. We even got some mud to close out the day.
You know, each trail here is so uniquely different. With the exception of Finn's and things, that was a lot like Halservange. Just, you know, the Bunny Hill version. But there's something for everyone here, literally.
An off-road trip to Moab offers an exhilarating adventure through diverse and challenging terrains, including iconic red rock formations and steep trails like Halservange. In addition to these thrilling trails, this area is also ripe with natural beauty and cultural history. For us congregants of the almighty cult of Jeep, this is truly holy ground.
It's the off-road mecca of the world.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah.
Now that my first trip to Moab is over, and I've had time to reflect, I now know that this is a 4,500 kilometer adventure that I will cherish forever. And I can't wait to do it again. Just don't tell my wife.
I guess that's why it's the Jeep. Holy land for Jeeps. The Jeep Jerusalem. The Jeep Vatican City. The Jeep Mecca. Pick your religion. Jeep Jerusalem? No! If he charges, you're grounded.